What is up, Goose Gang? Today, we are going to finish our set review of Innistrad Midnight Hunt. And if we have time to play some Niv Mizzet Reborn after, we're going to do that. That's cool stuff. Think gift cards to everybody. $25, $25, $25, $25. Just handing out quarter century gift cards to everybody. We're going to be going over the colorless, not colorless. Well, yeah, I guess colorless, right? We're going to be going over the multicolored cards, the flip cards, and the colorless cards, artifacts, and lands today. Gaming with Flynn, yo, what's up? Holy crap. Streamer shout out. What's up, Flynn? Yo, it's been a long time. Where have you been, my friend? All right, let's go ahead and get started with the set review because I want to make sure I can finish it in time. We're going to do about a 3-hour stream today, so I got to make sure I finish these cards in time. There's a lot of cards to go over right now. Military just went through a move. Drew, I remember you telling me that. Now let's go ahead and start going over the cards now because I don't want to run out of time here. Also, I just confirmed with my editor, my new YouTube video of the Wizards deck that we went undefeated with on stream is going to be coming out tomorrow for sure. 100% is going to be on YouTube tomorrow. So exclamation point YouTube and chat to sub to that. Moved across country. So what state do you live in now? All right, we're gonna run like the wind bullseye through these. Moved from Georgia to Colorado. That's a huge move. Never said it had to be 25. I said that. All right, let's go ahead and get started with Angel Fire Ignition here. It's a 3-mana sorcery. Put 2/1/1 counters on a creature. It gains Vigilance, Trample, Lifelink, Indestructible, and Haste till end of turn. That has a lot of keywords. Flashback for 2 and borrow. So you may cast this card from your graveyard for its flashback cost, then exile it. Vigilance, Trample, Lifelink, Indestructible, Haste. I mean, this card, like, seems good, but I don't even think this card's good. Yeah, I don't think this card's good. Especially because it's a sorcery. I'm gonna say it's unplayable. Like, it's probably okay in limited. Like, buff your flyer, give it 1 billion keywords this turn, and then next turn you buff your flyer again, give it 1 billion keywords, and your opponent's like basically almost dead. Arcane Infusion is a 2-mana instant. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an instant or sorcery card from among them and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom in random order. I would say if the cards went to the graveyard instead of going to the bottom, this card would be insane. Does have flashback for 5. Looking at the top 4 for 2 mana is a big deal. I don't know. Like, there's a chance this card sneaks in to like Jeskai control. It probably makes it into like standard Is It Dragons decks and stuff. But this is pretty good. I mean, there's a slight chance it just doesn't get played because Expressive Iteration is so good, but maybe Expressive Iteration and this are good, or maybe like a 3-1 split or something like that. The fact that this is instant speed is really tipping it over for me. That expressive iteration is insane. This does lock you into instants and sorceries. But like, do you just play Solemnity Vision instead of this card? Is Solemnity Vision better than this card? Probably not. It does have flashback, but 5 mana flashback is a big deal too. I guess this is a card that I'm gonna have to say, like, we're just gonna have to wait and see, right? Blade Stitch Scob is a Dimir 2/3 zombie soldier. That's actually a really good stat line for a zombie. Holy crap. Other zombies get +1/+0. Oh no! It doesn't give it +1/+1. But zombies get another lord, and you have to be playing blue though. That's different. I mean, I guess you play blue-black zombies. But like, this card is probably important. I don't know if Zombie Trouble is gonna be good. Can't Stay Away is an Orzhov sorcery. Return target creature card of mana value 3 or less when you're carried to the battlefield. It gains if it would die, exile it instead. That's flashback for 5. I mean, I don't think this card's terrible. But like, if you're gonna be playing creatures with mana value 3 or less, wouldn't you just want to play a creature instead of playing this card? Like, I can understand if like you're playing Vesperlark. This card's probably good in Vesperlark because you can just mill it over because you're milling anyway and then just flash it back. But like, maybe it's a one-of or something. I can only see this in like a deck where you only need one specific creature and not like a bunch of creatures, because you just play a 2-drop instead of playing this. Quartz Gobble is a Dimir instant. As additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice any number of creatures. Whoa. Create an XX blue and black zombie creature token with menace where X is the total power of the sacrificed creatures. Ha! That's funny. All your creatures just mend themselves into one big creature. It's like in Rat Race where like the kids are piled high within over each other with the huge trench coat. Yo, Dead Zone, how's it going? Portuguese, what's up? I said with lots of rares, but that we have time to collect them with the Mastery Pass. Maybe. But it's like that scene in I said Rat Race. I don't think I meant to say Rat Race. It's the scene in what's that freaking movie with Alfalfa again? My brain isn't working right now. It's too early. Little Rascals. How many levels in the Mastery Pass? I have no idea. Oh, I mean, it's always 100, isn't it? Crimson Vow releasing in November. I don't know. Checking right now. November 19th. The season was 80 levels? Wait, what? I stopped getting Mastery Passes like 4 sets ago. Because I think they're scams. How I like Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. I think it's a little bit underpowered for draft. I like some of the cards for constructed though. Like I like Orcus a lot. It's value, but it's also a scam. I mean, if you want the cards and you want the cosmetics, then be my guest. Up to you. Only 48 levels? Weird. All right. 60? All right, Crokeyz counterpart is a 3-mana sorcery. Create a token that's a copy of target non-frog, except it's a 1/1 frog. Flashback for 5. So this reminds me of, what's that card that is it 1 in double blue that copies your stuff and can also has jumpstart? Quasi duplicate. This card is like quasi duplicate, except a little worse. Why it's a rare, I don't know. Like, oh, because you can copy your opponent's things. But quasi duplicate does cost 3 both times, and this costs 5. Can't copy my frog tribal deck. You're not wrong. I don't think this card's played. Heart Wardens is a 3-mana 3/3 Vigilance Covenant. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, creatures you control get +1/+0 till end of turn. I mean, if it said +0/+0 and Vigilance till end of turn, I think this card will be like okay. But I think this card's like too underpowered for constructed. Dire Strain Rampage is a 3-mana sorcery. Destroy an artifact, enchantment, or land. Oh, I remember reading this card, right? If a land was destroyed this way, its controller may search the library for up to 2 basic land cards. Put them on the battlefield tapped and shuffle. Otherwise, its controller may search your library for a basic land, put on the battlefield tapped and shuffle. So it's like, destroy an artifact, enchantment, or land. Your opponent gets 2 lands. But if it was an artifact or enchantment, they only get 1. Still, it's awful. Like, yeah, it has flashback, but like, holy crap, this card's terrible. Yeah, it doesn't say your opponents either. You just destroy your own lands. Wait, this is a ramp card. Wait, what? Wait, is this just a ramp card? Is that why it's rare? Wait, is this just a ramp card that can also kill artifacts and enchantments? If you look at it that way, it's kind of good. You just pay 3 mana, destroy your own land, and then you search for 2 lands. I mean, okay. When you think about it like that, I thought it was just opponent's cards. But you just destroy your own land. Uh-huh. Diagraph Rebirth is a 5-mana sorcery. The spell costs 1 less for each creature that died this turn. Return a creature from your grave to the battlefield. I mean, even for 5 mana, it's not terrible. Oh my gosh, wait. This is really good in Reanimator decks. There might be a good standard Reanimator deck. Or maybe like, because like the flashback for 7, like yeah, it's an expensive flashback. But you also have that 6 mana 6/6 that like you can pay life for mana to like cast things from your graveyard. So like maybe that's actually a deck. All right, Faithful Mending is a 2-mana instant. You gain 2 life, draw 2 cards, and discard 2 cards. Oh, I did see that dead zone. But like the thing is, like, gaining 2 and then draw 2, discard 2 is card disadvantage. So like control decks don't really want to play this. Like, yeah, it is an instant. Like, yeah, maybe you can make some kind of reanimator deck with this card in standard, because looting's not in standard. So like, maybe make like an Esper reanimator deck, or like 4-color reanimator and play Diagraph Rebirth. Like, play Esper and like splash green for this card. Would they play this? I don't think they'd play this. They don't even play looting. They would play looting, but they don't play looting. I don't think they're playing this, chat. Oh, when you play this, I mean, if you don't play looting, you don't play this. No, they don't. They don't play looting, I promise you. I just played against Arne Huschenbeth a couple streams ago, and he was not playing looting, and he was playing the Gearhulk deck. The Gearhulk deck with Mystics Mastery and Magma Opus. I don't think this card's playable in Historic at all. I mean, I could be wrong, I guess, but like, I think it does have a home in Standard, probably. Maybe some 4-color Esper Reanimator deck. Nuno, how's it going? Arne is playing Archmage Charm. It's not red heavy. It's not red heavy, number one. Well, he is playing 2 copies of Anger of the Gods, so that is a red heavy card. But it's definitely not red heavy. It's more blue than anything else. Flush Taker is a 2-mana 2/2 human assassin. Whenever you sacrifice another creature, you gain a life and scry 1. Yeah, I was talking about this card being playable in like a black, white, red, like a Mardu sacrifice deck with Bowl Citadel, possibly. Yeah, it's worse than just counter spells, Dead Zone. One, sacrifice another creature. Flesh Taker gets +2/+2 till end of turn. Like, I think this is like kind of playable, maybe, but like maybe it's not. But like this is a card I'm definitely not going to say that it's totally not playable. Florian Voldaren Scion is a 3-mana 3/3 with first strike. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the total amount of life your opponent's lost this turn. Exile one of those cards, and put the rest in the bottom of your library in random order. You may play it this turn. I mean, if a black-red vampires deck's going to be a thing, this card is pretty good card advantage for it. Like, you have to cast this pre-combat, but like, wait, never mind. Like, you do have to cast this card pre-combat, and then you also have to be able to cast something that turn. Oh, it says play, so I guess you can use it as playing a land also. No, it doesn't need, it needs to survive combat. So like what you do is you on turn 3, well, like I guess you would do this on turn 4, right? On turn 4, you play this card pre-combat without playing your land first, and then you attack and deal damage to them, and then you look at the top whatever cards from your library where X is the total amount of life your opponent's lost, and then you just like get a land and then you play the land. So like I don't think this card's that good, because I think you would need like 5 mana for this card to actually be good. But like it is a 3 mana 3/3 first strike, so like that's fine stat line as it is. If you're playing red black vampires in standard, this probably makes the cut. It probably makes the cut as just a good stat line with first strike and ability to have an upside sometimes. Galvanic Iteration is a... Oh no, we have another Is It Iteration card. What's going on? We have another Is It card that says Iteration in it. When you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. Okay, these type of cards have never really been that good in Constructed. So I'm going to say no. Ghoul Caller's Harvest is a Gruul sorcery for 2 mana. Create X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens with decay where X is half the number of creature cards in your graveyard, rounded up. Flashback for 5. So like maybe this is a one of that you play in your reanimator deck just to like have a card. If you don't have your reanimator things going on, you can just have a card that makes 2/2s. But like the things have decayed, so it doesn't really matter. But, like if you have a bunch of creatures, you could like play one of this. Like this could be played. I wouldn't be surprised if it was played, but I don't think it's like broken or anything. I don't think it like is snap playable. Grizzly Ghoul is a 4 mana 4/3 trample and it's battlefield with +1/+1 counter for each creature that died this turn. Like I don't think this ability has been good in history. The fact that it has trample is fine. In Constructed, like you have Cat Oven and things like that, and creatures die all the time in those decks. You have Woe Strider and stuff, so this could be like a huge card. It could be like a 4. This could be like a 4 mana like 8/7 in Constructed, but like that's not very good. At 4 mana, you want to be casting like a Binding of the Old Gods and then casting Korvold. You don't want to be messing around with like a 4/3 trample. So like this card could be okay in like a Plumb the Forbidden deck in Standard, where you just like Plumb the Forbidden everything and then you cast this as like a freaking 9/8 trample, maybe. I'm talking about historic when I'm talking about Korvold. Elder Spite is a 2 mana sorcery. Exile target non-legendary creature that returns to the battlefield under its owner's control. If it entered under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Otherwise, tap it with flashback for 3. I mean, I would actually think that this card is going to see a little bit of play because of the new adversary cards that work when they're blinked. Like, there's not a lot of blink cards in the set. Yorian's rotating, but like for the moment in Standard, Yorian is the thing. We don't really have like a good blink card in standard right now, I don't think. Playing like this can blink something twice. Like, I don't think it's like that good. I don't think it's playable at all in historic, because why would you play this when you could play like Ephemerate? Like, maybe it makes its way into some kind of standard deck, but it does say non-legendary creature, so that makes it a little bit worse. Well, no one plays Semester's End, and teleportation circle's like kind of like a draft card. Teleportation circle being 4 mana is a huge deal. But like, I guess if you wanted to build a teleportation circle deck, you'd play Hallowed Respite in it. So like, in that case, it's like you'd play it in your deck probably. But like, this card's probably not like gonna be good or a mover in the format at all. Hungry for More is a 2-mana sorcery. Create a 3/1 black and red vampire creature token with trample, lifelink, and haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Flashback for 3. Why do you have to sacrifice everything? Why do all the zombies die? Or vampire? Why does all these cards make them die? Like, decayed creatures die. This sacrifices the card. Why can't the card just stay there? This was a 2-mana 3/1 with trample, lifelink, and haste, and it just stayed there. That'd be amazing. Why does it have to die? Like, that just makes it so bad. It's a theme, but that just makes it bad. Nombo with Poppet Stitcher. Join the Dance is a 2-mana Celestia sorcery. Create 2/1/1 white human creature tokens with flashback for 5. If you're building a humans deck in like standard, maybe this is a card. I don't know if this card sees play in historic. 2/1/1 humans for 2 is like not bad, especially if you're playing humans. Like, you might play green white in your humans deck because of the new Sigarda.
OMG set reviews? Did we just start?
We didn't just start, actually. We're towards the end. We went over all the monocolors already. Thank you so much for the sub, Guy in the Scald. For your continued generosity. Getting me one step closer to doing this full time. We currently have 267 subs. We're only 33 subs away from wearing our Charizard outfit. Take that however you will. I think this card could see play. Once again, I don't think it's a mover, but I think it'll see like a little bit of play. I don't think it's unplayable by any means. Yo, what the heck? Yo! Nine this call, thank you for the 10 gifted. Akira Nair, Medicaid, Red Lava, Vivid, Tuna, Jack, Tom, Motor Zeege, Killer, and Dead Zone. Make sure to give Guy in this call a huge, humongous thank you. We are now 23 subs away. Wow. You're absurd. Thank you so much. Exclamation point, new sub a bunch of times. Catilda, Dawnhard Prime is a 2-mana 1/1 legendary creature, human warlock, protection from werewolves. Protection from werewolves. Thanks for the follow, DMX. Human creatures you control have it. Tap to add 1 mana of any of this creature's colors. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's all humans. Pay 6 mana and tap and put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Green white humans in standard. PogChamp. There's also Sigarda too. Liaison Forgotten Archangel is a 5 mana consisting of 2 white and a black, 4/5 flying lifelink angel. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. This reminds me of like a luminous broodmoth kind of. If a creature opponent controls will die, exile it instead. This is pretty good tech. What am I excited about for the new standard? Believe it or not, I'm the most excited about the new lands. Yep, Luminarch, Aspirant, and Elite Spellbinder are both humans. Yeah, I think that deck, the green-white humans is going to be a deck in standard for sure. You can't say lands. Yes, I can. Are any of these cards wait, 1 second. Are any of these cards playable in Niv Reborn? Probably not, right? I'm not playing the arena open because I have to work today. It's unfortunate, I know. I really just want to not work anywhere. Okay, but I have to because money exists. I want to not work anywhere and just stream full time so I can do all these things for you guys. But a lot more work needs to be done on Twitch for me to get to that point. I don't think I play any of these cards in Niv Mizzet Reborn. Like Faithful Mending, probably? No, not really. Galvanic, no. Harvest, no. Duel, no. Respite, no. Hungry for More, no. Join the Dance, no. Matilda, no. Liaisa, no. About to become a YouTube powerhouse soon enough? That's the plan. That's the plan, James. Sigh, real jobs? I know, right? Yikes. Yo, Guy in the Scald. Are you actually tied? You have a Gifter Leader 3 badge. Does that mean you're tied with Sepsis Bear for the highest amount of gift subs of all time in this channel? Goalie's number 1 at 292, Jump 6 for 55, and then Sepsis Bear is at 35. Does that mean that you also have 35, Guy in the Scald? Can you check that? 3/3 Rakdos creature? No, I don't think that's good enough. 36. It's not updated for me yet. Hold on. Let me refresh. Let me refresh. Let's go! It updated! Yes! Alright, Guy in the Skull is new bronze sub badger. Florian's Rakdos creature. Yeah, I don't think this card's playable. Nope, not good enough in Niv. Like, if we're playing 2 mana 5/5s that have upside, we're not playing a 3 mana 3/3. Old Stick Fingers is a 2 mana with XX, or when you cast a spell, reveal cards on top of your library, so you reveal X creature cards, but all creatures revealed this way into your graveyard, then put the rest on the bottom in any order, in a random order. Old Stick Fingers power and toughness are equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. I guess this card could see play. But like, I don't really think this card's gonna be good. I guess it could be. But like, no, I don't think Moonveil Region's playable in Niv. We want our 4 mana cards to impact the board, and we also want them to be fetchable by Niv, and that card's not. Rem Careless is a Stalwart Slayer, is a 3 mana 2/3 flying haste. If a spell will deal damage to you, another permanent you control, prevent that damage. What? If a spell would deal damage to you or another permanent you control, prevent that damage. Like, period? If a spell would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals that much damage +1. Your body isn't what matters though, the trigger's insane. Like, you gotta think that more often than not, you're not gonna be hitting with it. So like, it's just gonna be a 3-mana 3/3 first strike. I don't think that's good enough. Tajik and Torbran walk into a bar, I know. Rem Careless comes out as their baby. Is that true? Like Torbran and Torbran and Tajik have a baby, it's freaking Rem Careless? Is any creature though? It's just amount of life your opponent lost. So like you would have to already have this on the board or play it that turn and then exile one card and then you can play it that turn. But the thing is, we have a lot of expensive cards in our deck and also a lot of cards we don't want to play that turn. And we have like Crokeyz and Niv Reborn and all of those huge cards that we just don't want to play. Yeah, it's good to turn after you cast her, but she has to live. 3 toughness is really bad in Historic because of Lightning Helix, Braid, cards like that. No 1-drop, Kavu only 2-drop, no 3-drop. Am I getting this right? Kavu is the only 2-drop creature in our deck. We have a lot of 2-mana cards. Linval's been really good. I played Linvala in the deck when Fires of Invention was a thing. But Linvala is also kind of good against like Gearhulk too. Do I have any 2 or 3 mana creatures in the main? No. No, Deputy's in the sideboard. So like Rem Careless, if a spell would deal damage to you or another permanent you control, prevent the damage. The spell would deal damage to an opponent or permanent an opponent controls to deals that much damage +1, which means our Lightning Helixes do 4 damage, and our Deafening Clarions do 4 to everything. But like, so like, I don't think this card's good in Niv Visit, but it might have a place in our Boros midrange deck. Like if a bad card is only good when we draw our otherwise good card, then the card's not good. That's the theory that we should remember, chat. We should remember that we shouldn't put bad cards in our deck to make our already good cards better. They're already good. Like in our Boros midrange deck, we already have a lot of 3-drops though. We already have a lot of 3-drops. We have like, this has to compete. This Rem Careless has to compete with Skyclave Apparition, Elite Spellbinder, and the Pyromancer for 3 mana. So like with all of that said, I don't think it's good enough. Where I do think this card's good is in a humans deck. This is like the Mantis Rider of Historic for humans, and I think in that way this card's good. Anytime you have a flying haste human, it's very, very good. Yeah, Tajik's already good, but this card's flying. It also makes your stuff take no damage and make your stuff deal more damage. Just an idea. You could play. I mean, you could play, like, why not both? You could just play 2 Tajik and 2 Rem Careless. They're legendary. Rite of Harmony is a 2-mana instant. Whenever a creature or enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, this turn, draw a card. I mean, what? Oh, it's an instant, not an enchantment. Flashback for 4. I mean, I could see playing this as against like control decks as a sideboard card for green-white humans. You just play this card, and then you play like a few humans, and you play a human, draw a card, play a human, draw a card, play a human, draw a card. Or like you play Rite of Harmony, and then you play Join the Dance, make 2/1/1 humans, draw a card, draw a card.
Who did this?
Gotta do a back scratch.
Who the freak ate my snack bag?
So like maybe this card's playable. I think it's fringe playable though. Rite of Oblivion is a 2-mana sorcery. It's additional cost to cast a spell. Sacrifice a non-land permanent. Exile target non-land permanent. What? If you'll follow that boy. So you sacrifice a non-land permanent and then you exile non-land permanent. That's just card disadvantage. It's flashback for 4. Like, I guess I wouldn't mind playing this card in my reanimator deck if I'm milling. Like, if I'm milling myself, I wouldn't mind playing this card if I was already playing black-white. I wouldn't actually specifically splash for this card, but if I'm already playing the colors, I might just play one of this just to mill into. That's basically it. Super niche. Root Coil Creeper is a 2-mana 2/2. Add a mana of any color. Oh. Add 2 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast spell from your graveyard. Okay. Hey, green blue, tap it, exile it. Return target card with flashback you own from exile to your hand. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I mean, if you're playing like a Bant Ramp or Simic Ramp, this card's like pretty good, right? Like, this is like the Paradise Druid of Standard again. Yeah, 4-color Reanimator, Copium. Sacred Fire is a Boros instant. Oh, okay. This is discount Lightning Helix, isn't it? Sacred Fire does 2 damage to any target and you gain 2 life. Flashback for 6. That's a big old flashback. But like, it's a good card. It's still Lightning Helix. Upgraded Firebolt? What does Firebolt do? What is it? 1 red, it deals 2 damage to target creature or player, flashback for 5? I guess it's a hybrid, right? It's a hybrid between Lightning Helix and Firebolt. Alright. I mean, I guess if you're playing Boros or Jeskai. You're feeling Jeskai control, Boros midrange, or like maybe a Boros aggro deck. You have this in your sideboard. Maybe in Boros midrange, it's in your main deck. Maybe in Jeskai control or Mardu control or something, you're playing this in your main deck. It's okay if you call me James, yeah. I play standard. Can you push your deck concept and ask for a bit of feedback when you have time to spare? Only in my Discord, please. Exclamation point Discord and chat. And there's a whole Magic the Gathering section where you can get feedback by not just me, but from everyone else in our community. Alright, Sigarda, Champion of Light, is a 4-mana 4/4 double white green flying trample. Humans get +1/+1. Yes! Yes, Sigarda, the champion angel that we were looking for in our humans deck to look up to and worship. Sigarda, you have our worship. We are worthy. You are worthy of our praise. Sigarda, Champion of Light. Kevin, whenever Sigarda attacks, if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a human creature card from among them and put them in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom in a random order. Yeah, White Adversary is good too, but also Sigarda's a 4/4 flying trample angel. Like, I mean, this is not just an anthem. This is an anthem with a flying trample. Why the heck does Sigarda have trample? Like, not only that, but you also get cards. Yeah, White Adversary is a human. I'm not saying you're not playing that card, but you're probably playing either at least 2 of these. Is Rally the Ranks in standard? Oh, by the way, chat. Quick break to show this. Elliott Dragon and Level 99 Herbie are our 2 featured content creators that will be playing in Stream League 6 next Saturday. Okay, not today, but a week from today. Elliott Dragon is an amazing historic player. Also is a French streamer, so make sure to give him a follow. Level 99 Herbie is a variety limited player that will be playing in this historic event as well. And today, Elliott Dragon and Level 99 Herbie are the 2 players that we are featuring today. So with that said, exclamation point, shout out for Elliott Dragon and shout out Level 99 Herbie in chat. Give them a follow. Make sure to follow them for the historic Stream League 6, sponsored by CoolStuffInc.com on this channel on Saturday, September 18th at 11 a.m. Eastern. The real way to spell Elliott Dragon is E1L-I-O-T-T. I'm pretty sure, or maybe I'm wrong. No, I spelled it right. Double T, 1L. Okay. So I think that Sigarda is actually a pretty good card. Moving on to Siphon Insight. Siphon Insight is a Dimir instant. Look at the top 2 cards of target opponent's library. Exile one of them face down and put the other on the bottom of their library. You may look at and play the exiled card for as long as it remains exiled, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast that spell. It's okay, Nuno. I think Siphon Insight is a interesting card. It's kind of like a Gonti, but it's a 2-mana instant, which is very good. You can do it twice, which I like. It's not card advantage, but like you could get a good card from them. You could also get a trash card. One thing different about this card in Gonti is that this card says that you can play it, whereas Gonti says you can cast it. So Gonti can't actually play lands from your opponent's deck. Siphon Insight notably can play lands from your opponent's deck, so if you are missing land drops, you can just play their land. I don't think this card is necessarily bad. I don't think it's amazing. It's not card advantage. I think this is just a fun card. I don't think this card's super good. I think you're playing this card if you play like a Xanathar. If you're playing like a Xanathar, Gonti, Siphon Insight meme deck in Historic, then you play this. Like, if you call your deck, I'm playing my opponent's deck, then you play this. Yeah, I just play it with Rogue Class and like a bunch of cards that say I'm casting my opponent's cards. Oh yeah, if you play against decks that have the top of their library revealed, you're like, yep, I want that. I'm gonna be the meme lord and you're gonna lose. Just tilt people, I know. I know. I know. Listen, just because the card's not super good doesn't mean we're not gonna play with it, chat. Alright, Slogurk, the Overslime is a 3-mana 3/3 trample. Whenever a land is put in your graveyard from anywhere, put a 1/1 counter on Slogurk, the Overslime. This includes cycling Triomes and things. Remove 3 +1/+1 counters from Slogurk, return it to its owner's hand, which is, like, freaking weird. But okay. Whenever it leaves the battlefield, return up to 3 target lands from your graveyard to your hand. I mean, sure. I don't know how that's good, but, like, maybe there's a bunch of cycle lands and you return them from your graveyard to their hand and cycle them again, and then, like, keep putting 1/1 counters on this, and when your opponent deals with it, you take the 1/1 counters off and return it to your hand. Like, this card is just weird. Like, the point of, like, the reason why Life in the Loam is good because it dredges 3. This doesn't mill cards. So, yeah, this card's not good. Storm Skrillex is a 5-mana 2/4 flyer. Instant and sorceries cost 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, it gets +2/+0 till end of turn. If this was 4 mana, it would be more passable, but like a 5-mana 2/4, like, just play Goldspan Dragon. Sunrise Cavalier is a 3-mana 3/3 trample haste. If it's neither day or night, it becomes day as Sunrise Cavalier enters the battlefield. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. I mean, it is a human. It does have trample and haste, so it works pretty well with the other card that has haste and flying as a 2/3. So, like, maybe if you're building red-white humans, maybe there's a spot for maybe there's an actual spot for like I'm forgetting the green white red color combination off the top of my head, but you know, Selesnya and Boros put together and had a baby. You make this Naya. Thank you. You could like make a Naya humans deck with like some day-night synergies, and then you can play the green. Then you can play like the green red flip planeswalker that I don't think is that bad. The day-night one. So like maybe that's a thing. But like when day becoming night or night becoming day, I don't think it's gonna happen a lot, but that planeswalker does switch between day and night with its +1, I think. Like maybe that's okay. But like, I don't know. A 3-mana 3/3 trample haste is not bad. Like, this can kill your opponent pretty fast. We'll see. We'll have to see about this card. This card might be insane. The Fairy Who Slows the Sunset is a 4-mana 4 loyalty planeswalker. Its +1 is to choose up to 1 target artifact, up to 1 target creature, and up to 1 target land. Untap the chosen permanents you control. Tap the chosen permanents you don't control. You gain 2 life. One thing notable about this card is that your opponent's cards still untap at the start of their untap step. So I guess if you're playing creatures with this, it's good because you can tap their blockers and get in. But why would you want to do that unless you have a vigilance creature, or else the fairy's going to die in the backswing unless you're just killing your opponent. You could also, I guess, tap their mana so they don't counterspell you if they have only like 2 or 3 lands remaining. If your opponent has a Teferi and you are facing down the Teferi, how good is it? If your opponent, if you're playing a control deck against Teferi Who Slows the Sunset, and they just start their turn by tapping your lands, tapping your land, you need to make sure that you have one extra land open to cast a counterspell if this card's already on the board, which is a little bit annoying. But you can choose up to one target artifact and creature and land, untap them, and they don't have to be yours. They can be your opponent's. So you can this is basically like a ramp card too. Like if you have a mana dork and you have like a land, you can cast this on turn 4 or 3, and then you can untap. You can tap your mana dork and your land, and then untap them with Teferi, and then you know, tap them again, which means you can probably cast a 7-drop on turn 5. Well, all werewolves switch when the day changes, but triggering the day changing is the problem. Don't worry about it, that boy. Our community is very open with talking to people about deck lists and life and everything. So make sure that you just ask people questions. It doesn't have to be me. Our Discord is pretty active with people talking about Magic. So you can just ask people anything within reason. And, you know, if you're a dickhead, then I'm going to ban you. So just don't be a dickhead. Untap Mindstone, untap Ragon Triumph. Go ahead, opponent. I know, right? Yep. So like this card, I guess, could be pretty cool in like a Bant Ramp deck. Maybe you, it does give you like 1 or 2 extra mana. So like you do your play and then you untap the lands. Like it doesn't draw a card like Teferi Hero of Dominaria does when you do this. It also only draws a card on your -2. So if you draw a card with this, you can't untap your lands. But like, I would be surprised if I saw this get played a lot. I don't think it's that good, but I think in the right shell it can be pretty good. Yo, All Eyes, what's up? Yeah, I don't think the downtick's that good. Unnatural Moonrise is a 2-mana sorcery, becomes night. Until end of turn, target creature gets +1/+0 and gains trample, and whenever this creature deals combat doing damage to a player, draw a card. A flashback for 4. So this is a card that just makes it night, which is pretty cool. But like, I don't think this is a constructed playable card. Vadrik Astral Archmage is a 3-mana 1/2. If it's neither day or night, it becomes day as Vadrik Astral Archmage enters the battlefield. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost X less to cast, where X is its power, so its power is 1 for now. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, put a +1/+1 counter on Vadrik. I mean, this could be okay. Like, it's no Baral. It's no Baral, but if you buff this, it could get out of control. Top 10 card you'll never see outside of draft. Your PC is fried, so I gotta wait till Tuesday to get a warranty bot PC. Yikes, Odd Eyes. Sorry to hear that. Vadrik, Vadrock, Gadwick. Yeah, Vadrock and Gadwick had a baby. It's just Vadrik. I think this card could be playable, especially if you buff this, but like, unbuffed, this card is pretty bad. If you're Infuriate this, you're doing it. I know, right? If it has removal, you lose. Vampire's Socialite is a 2-mana 2/2 with Menace. That's a good stat line. When Vampire's Soliciate enters battlefield, if an opponent lost life this turn, put a 1/1 counter on each other vampire. Each other vampire. Whoa. As long as an opponent lost life this turn, each other vampire you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. I mean, this card alone could actually make red-black vampires actually a thing in Historic. Like, right now, Historic is mono-black vampires, but this could actually turn it to red-black. Like, actually. This card is great. Like, you would play red just to play this. This card's really good for vampires. Put a 1/1 counter on each other vampire? That's crazy. And then on your next turn, your vampires just come with an extra +1/+1 counter. Is Olivia Valderin in Historic? I don't know. Alright, Wake to Slaughter is a 5-mana sorcery. Has flashback for 6. Choose up to 2 target creature cards in your graveyard, and opponent chooses one of them, return that card to their hand. Return the other to the battlefield under your control. It gains haste, exile at the beginning of the next end step. So like this is a like reanimator card that like doesn't really reanimate what you want to reanimate. I guess you get a card back from it, but the card that you play gets exiled. It also has haste though. It has flashback. I mean, this card's pretty good just because it has flashback. You can just mill your deck and just start reanimating things. All right, has potential. Winterthorn Blessing is a 2-mana sorcery. Put a 1/1 counter on up to 1 target creature you control. Tap up to 1 target creature you don't control, and that creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap with flashback for 3. This is a limited card. It's pretty good in limited. It's not good anywhere else. Moving on to artifacts, is the Celestis. It's a 3-mana legendary artifact. If it's neither day or night, it becomes day as the Celestis enters the battlefield. Tap to add 1 mana of any color. So it's a mana rock. 3 and tap it. If it's night, it becomes day. Otherwise, it becomes night. Activate only as a sorcery. Takes 3 mana to do that? Jeez. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, you gain a life. You may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. So it becomes day as it enters the battlefield. You add a mana of any color. You can pay 3 mana and tap it. It changes night and day. And then you gain a life, draw, discard. I mean, this is pretty good in limited. This card's awful and constructed. Crossroads Candle Guide is a 4-mana 3/4. When it enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard, which is good because of all the flashback. Pay 2, add a mana of any color. This is really, it's actually pretty good in limited if you're playing multiple colors. Like, I wouldn't mind having one of these in my deck. It's also a 3/4, which is not that bad. Like, if you could change it at instant speed and it wasn't 3 mana to do that, then it would be fine. Jack-o'-lantern's a 1-mana artifact. Pay 1 and tap it, sacrifice it, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard and draw a card. So this is doing its best, whatever that card is in Historic impression. It's doing its best Relic of Progenitus impression. I can't remember a card name for my life. If you said, James, what is this card? This card does this thing. What is the name of this card? I don't care if I've played that card 8 times in my life. I will not remember the name. I can't remember names of any cards. What's the 1 blue-green mythic card called? Yeah, you could keep doing this over and over again. I will not remember. 1 blue-green mythic. I don't know. Uro? Like, Relic is in Historic. Hey, can I get a mod? Can I get a mod check, please? Can I get a ban? Can someone lay the hammer on VF Dowd? We need the hammer down. Permaban. Mod check? Mod check? Yelling for mods? Hello? Hello, mods? Crickets? 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 They're not banned yet. Alright. My mods are all losing their salaries. Mods on vacation, losing salaries. Alright, they no longer make $50,000 a year, they make 0. Unpaid vacation. All right, fine, I'll do it. Fine, I'll do it, but you're losing your salaries. Can I get a big F in chat for mod salaries? Okay, so the other ability of Jack-o'-lantern is to pay 1 and exile Jack-o'-lantern from your graveyard and add a mana of any color. Alright, so this is a filter card. If it's in your graveyard. I mean, I can see this card in Dragon Rage Channeler decks that are playing more than 1 color. Other than that, I think this card's trash. I mean, unless there's a really good deck in the format that only has like one card in the graveyard to do their combo, and they only play 1 in the deck, and then you play this, and then you draw a card and exile it. Moon Silver Key is a 2-mana artifact. Pay 1 and tap it, sacrifice it, search your library for an artifact card with a mana ability or a basic land card. Reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle. Oh, this... okay. Search for an artifact with a mana ability or a basic land. I mean, this is like a commander staple forever, right? You just pay 2 mana for this and then pay 1 and tap it and search for freaking Mana Crypt. Pithing Needle doesn't have a mana ability. MTG bot getting a pay cut? I know, right? Yeah, this would be good in a 4-color mill deck because you just filter your mana with this card and just exile it. It's okay because when you play it, you just draw a card. Like Moon Silver Key in Commander is pay 2 mana and then pay 1 and tap it, sacrifice it to search Mana Crypt. That's just what this card says. Mana Crypt or Mana Vault or Soul Ring, which makes it good. Pithing Needle is a 1-mana artifact. As Pithing Needle enters battlefield, choose a card name. Activated abilities and sources with the chosen name can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. Yay! Pithing Needle in Standard and Historic now. Yay! Pithing Needle in Historic. I mean, there's a lot of artifact destruction anyway. There's Prismari Command, there's Culligan's Command. There's a lot of artifact destruction. So, like, sure, I guess. Activated abilities and sources with the chosen name can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. Needle is 100% a sideboard card. It's a sideboard card in Modern. It's been a sideboard card in Modern forever. Like, if you have a card, if your opponent has a card that, like, their activated ability wins them the game, this card just insane. Oh, you mistyped and said don't see? That's funny. Like, Gearhulk is not an activated ability, it's a triggered ability. So you can name Gearhulk, but it won't do anything. You can definitely name Teferi Hero of Dominaria though. Yeah, it's a 1-mana Spyglass. Yep, what's up, Draft is fun? I wonder if do you think Draft is fun? The Draft best format? True. Draft is a very good format. I like Cube better than Draft though. Alright, Pithing Needle is going to be a staple in Historic forever. Silver Bolt is a 1-mana artifact. Pay 3 and tap it, sacrifice it, it deals 3 damage to a creature. If a werewolf is dealt damage this way, destroy it. What? That's pretty cool. Silver Bolt deals damage, but if it's a werewolf, it destroys it because werewolves are weak to silver. That's such good flavor. Cube is also Draft, but it's different, kind of. Silver Bolt is pretty neat. The fact that it deals 3 damage for 3 mana means, like, you could just, like, Luris this back over and over again. Stuff Bear is a 2-mana artifact. Pay 2, it becomes a 4/4. This is a 4/4 that you can get from Luris every turn. If this dies, you just bring it back with Luris and just make it a 4/4 again. Yay! 4/4 every turn from Luris. Alright, that's it. Lands. On to... oh my gosh, this Evolving Wilds art's so good. Oh my gosh, this Evolving Wilds art's amazing. Oh, this Field of Ruin art's amazing too. Look at that. It says I'm 75 years old. Or like, this is a grave of someone who is 75 years old. We did it. We finally broke Luris with Stuffed Bear. Actually, that deserves a tweet. Deserves tweet. Thank you guys for everybody that's talking in the Discord. I'm really looking forward to building our community in the Discord. If you'd like to be a part of it, maybe a part of the Discord, kind of like our offline chat. If you'd like to be in there, we can talk about our deck list. We can talk about our tournaments. We can talk about our events. We can talk about Magic in general. We can talk about games and memes and Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon. If you like to talk about those things, there's things for sports and music and everything. If you'd like to be a part of the community and a part of the Goose Gang, you can join the Goose Gang Discord by typing in ! Discord in chat. Okay. Yeah, it's already a land. The Evolving Wilds is already a land, but this art's just amazing. Yeah, join all the nerds. All right. Deserted Beach is a land. It enters battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands. I like this. Deserted Beach. Oh my gosh, it actually looks like one of the beaches close to me. This like looks exactly like New Smyrna Beach in Florida when you're walking down this little boardwalk thing here, and it goes all the way around, literally just like this, around the outside. There's actually like rocks like there. There's like the sky there. It's like looks exactly like New Smyrna Beach. Oh my gosh, like even the thing, even like the foliage next to this is like perfect. Foliage on the right side, on the left side no foliage, and there's the beach. This is literally just taking a picture of my beach. What is going on here? This looks exactly like, I think someone from New Smyrna Beach in Florida was just like, let me draw my beach and just make it deserted. And that's it. Florida also has the Gitrog monster, you're not wrong. We have Evolving Wilds here, which gets basically untapped. Field of Ruin also has like 4 reprints already. Haunted Ridge is the 2 or more other lands for, oh my gosh, we're getting, these lands are so good in Niv Mizzet, you don't understand. I mean, I guess they're whatever, right? They're actually whatever in Niv Mizzet, because I kind of want to put my lands, I kind of want to play my lands untapped, so I guess the check lands are better than these. In my Niv Mizzet deck specifically. Oh, fast are definitely better than slow. Like, the thing about check lands in Historic is check lands almost always come into play untapped later on in the game, and so do these. But check lands can also come in untapped on turn 2, but these can't. So, like, I think check lands are still better than these in Niv Mizzet Reborn, because these can't come into play untapped on turn 2, whereas check lands can. Yeah, triomes make check so much better. But if I wasn't playing as many triomes and I was just playing like Fabled Passages, I'd definitely be playing these. Just because you play all 5, there are a few times when you won't have the right land on turn 1 or 2, but the check's on turn 3, but I might be wrong. Yeah, usually my checks come in untapped on turn 3. So we have the Azorius one, we have Rakdos, we have Selesnya, we have Gruul, we have Dimir. So it's all the allied colors. White, blue, blue, black, black, red, red, green, and then green, white. All right, we have these. Let me know what you think about these planes, or this land cycle here. That's like full art lands, but they're kind of like droopy, like darky. Like the planes has a scarecrow. These have, the other planes has crows in it. These here is like very dark. I really think these foil would be really nice. Like this island foil would be broken. These are lands that I would probably play in paper. Yeah, in paper these are probably amazing. Hey, Ziffet, thanks for the follow. Moving on to double face cards here. Yeah, accidentally tapping the wrong color because like they don't look at it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I agree, Rumnock. It's like, oh, like it's just something to like PogChamp over when you're pulling these. All right, double face cards. There's a lot of double face cards here. And we only have an hour and a half, so we're going to try to get through these pretty quick. Alright, Ambitious Farmhand is a 2-mana 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for basic planes, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. It's actually pretty good for draft. Coven for 3, transform it. Activate only if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers. It transforms into Seasoned Cathar, which is a 3/3 lifelinker. Yeah, the fact that you have to like pay mana to transform in this is kind of bad. I think this is pretty good and limited, but I don't think it sees constructed play. Beloved Beggar is a 2-mana 0/4 with Disturb for 6. You can cast this from your graveyard transformed for its Disturb cost. Okay, so it's a wall, and then when it goes to the graveyard, you can disturb this to make a 4/4 Flying Vigilance for 6 mana. I don't think that's not good. Three Survivor is a 3-mana 2/1. When another creature you control dies, transform it. Transforms into Dauntless Avenger. When it attacks, return target creature card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, tapped and attacking. This just requires something to die. Then it makes a 3/2 to return something. It might be good in Mardu Aristocrats, but the 3 mana is a lot. Like Mardu, in Mardu Aristocrats, you want to be doing a lot of different things for 2 mana than for 3 mana than to play a 2/1. Just something to die and Fertile Grasp it. I know. I think this sees standard play, but doesn't see historic play. I mean, it's a human also, but like, I don't know. Like Dauntless Avenger attacking, returning something with mana value 2 or less, it'll probably just get blocked and die if you do that. I don't think it's awful, but I don't think it's amazing. Brutal Cathar is a 3-mana 2/2. When the creature enters the battlefield, it transforms into Brutal Cathar. Exile target creature and opponent controls until this creature leaves the battlefield. Wow. Wow. Oh, wow, it turns into a red card. So it turns into a 3/3 with first strike with ward 3 life. And then when it becomes day again, it just turns back into Brutal Cathar. And then when this enters back, and then when this transforms back again, it exiles another thing. Like, let me get this right. If you play Brutal Cathar and then you exile their creature, and then this doesn't die, like if it becomes night, it just turns into first strike ward pay 3 life for 3/3. And then when it becomes day again, it transforms back into this, and you get to exile something else. Yes, it says when this creature transforms into Brutal Cathar. Its name is Brutal Cathar. No, it says ETB or transforms, which means it does it multiple times. So it's gonna enter the battlefield, it's gonna exile a creature. If it becomes night, it's gonna be Mood Range Brute with the card with the creature still under it. And then when it becomes day again, it'll flip back into this, and that's called transforming into Brutal Cathar. So then you get it triggers again to exile another creature. I think that's how it works. Which, if that's the case, it's pretty good. Well, I think the card still comes back because it says this creature leaves the battlefield. Just because it transforms into Moonrage Brute, it still counts as being the same creature. So, like, even if they kill the Moonrage Brute on the Moonrage Brute side, they still get the creature back. The text isn't there anymore, correct? But it's still the same. It's still the same card. It still counts as the same card. So like the creature comes back, but if it keeps flipping, then you get to keep exiling stuff, which I think is pretty neat. Which I think makes this very playable in standard. Like in historic, you just play Skyclave. Like this card is really good in standard. Okay, Chaplain of Alms is a 1-mana 1/1 first strike with ward 1, disturb for 4. That's all it says. And then it becomes a 2/1 with flying and first strike. Each creature has ward 1. If it would be put into graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. I mean, this is probably pretty good in clerics or humans, right? Standard has Skyclave too. I guess you can play both. But this card probably not good enough in historic, but in standard, we're going to see a lot of daybound, nightbound stuff. So, like, it's probably going to be good. One mana 1/1 first strike ward 1 is pretty good in humans, pretty good in clerics. And if it goes to the graveyard, you can always just disturb this for 4 and it becomes a flying first strike cleric with each creature as ward 1. I mean, I think this card's pretty good. Alright, Enduring Angel is a 5-mana 3/3 flying double strike. You have hexproof. If your life total will be reduced to 0 or less, instead transform Enduring Angel and your life total becomes 3. And if Enduring Angel didn't transform this way, you lose the game. The reason why this last text is on here, then if Enduring Angel didn't transform this way, you lose, is so you don't make infinite copies of this. And if you make a bunch of copies of this, then it's like, you know, breaks the game kind of, because like Wizards doesn't want you to like make 6 of these and then each one of them has to die for you to lose. So so you would transform this and it turns into a flying. You have hexproof, Angels enforces power and toughness equal to your life total. When it attacks, double your life total. So like you have you go to 0, you transform it, you go to 3. You attack with this, you go to 6. You attack, you go to 12. The problem with this card is it just dies. There's so many cards in this format. There's the white card that kills creatures. There's the black card that kills creatures. There's 2 different red spells in this format that deal 3 damage. There's actually 3 of them, but one's Night Bolt. Lightning Bolt deals 3 damage. If people are playing that in standard. Also, Fire Prophecy still in standard. Not Fire Prophecy. Dragon's Fire is still in standard, which does 3 damage. So, like, I think this card is bad because 3 toughness is a thing. 3 toughness is a really bad stat line to have as a 5-mana angel. All right. Lunarch Veteran is a 1-mana 1/1. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain a life. Whoa! Disturb for 2. Okay. Well, historic life gain has 1 more 1-mana life gain thing. Luminous Phantom, flying. Whenever another creature you control leaves the battlefield, you gain a life. If Luminous Phantom would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. All right. Selesnya Company Angels, I guess. All right. Morning Patrol is a 3-mana 2/3 Vigilance, disturb for 4. Okay, no longer playable in constructed because it's 3-mana 2/3 Vigilance. Morning Apparition is the flying Vigilance. If it would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile instead. The disturb cost is 4, so you pay 4 mana for a 2/1 flying Vigilance, not playable. I wouldn't mind picking this in draft though. Bait Hook Angler is a 2-mana 2/1 with Disturb 2. If it goes to the graveyard, you can cast it for its Disturb cost, and its Disturb is a 1/2 flyer, and it exiles if it's been put into the graveyard. Yeah, not playable. So when it's cast away, is a 2-mana 1/3 human. When it dies, mill 3. Disturb for 5, and then it comes back as a 3/4 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, you may shuffle up to 3 target cards from your graveyard into your library, and then it gets exiled if it put into a graveyard. I don't think this is good. Delver of Secrets, this card's trash. Gale Drifter is a 4-mana 3/2 with flying, Disturb for 5, and it turns into a 2/2 flyer. Okay. 4-mana 3/2 flyer, Disturb for 5 to make a 2/2. I mean, this art's pretty cool though. It's like a Goose Gang. It's like the Goose Lord. Oh my gosh, this thing's Goose Pegasus. Oh my gosh. It's a Goose Pegasus. Yo! This is their Goose Angel. Wait. Does this have to be our mascot now? I think this is our mascot. Hold on. We now have a new Goose Gang mascot, the apprentice to our Goose Lord and Savior, Gilded Goose. I introduce Gale Drifter. That is in the Discord for everyone to see in announcements. We now have a new Goose Gang mascot, the apprentice to our Goose Lord and Savior, Gilded Goose. I introduce Gale Drifter. There we go. It's the Goose Lord. It's the Goose Lord and Savior's apprentice, the Goose Angel. I know it's a hippogriff. I know it's a hippogriff. I can read. Okay, I know it's not a goose, but freaking look at it. It's literally a freaking goose. Look at the face of it. Look at the face. It's a goose. It's literally a goose. Anyway. Swan, if anything, blasphemy. Blasphemy. It cannot be a swan. Okay. Delver of Secrets is a 1-mana 1/1. We already know this card's insane. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library and reveal that card. If an instant or sorcery card is revealed this way, transform it, and it becomes Insectile Aberration as a 3/2 flyer. This card's insane, obviously sees a lot of play, and is legacy playable. Alright. Malevolent Hermit. Yeah, if you want to make a meme deck, you should probably play Delver of Secrets. Good meme deck. Malevolent Hermit is a 2-mana 2/1. Pay 1 blue, sacrifice it, counter target non-creature spell unless the controller pays 3. Oh god. This is probably like CEDH playable. This is probably Legacy Cube playable. Or I mean Vintage Cube playable. It's also a wizard. Wait, is this Gandalf? Wait, who put Gandalf in our game? Who put Gandalf in our game? The other side is disturb for 3, 2 and a blue. Benevolent Geist is a flyer. Non-creature spells you control can't be countered. Yeah, that is scheduled, Rumnock. Alright, non-creatures can't be countered. That's insane. If it would be put in the graveyard for anywhere exiled instead. The flavor text is all his old grudges suddenly seemed laughably petty. So he laughed. He just becomes happier. He keck W'd. Yeah, this disturb cost is pretty cheap too. Like, the fact that your non-creature spells can't be countered is pretty good. Alright, Mysterious Tome is a 3 mana artifact. Pay 2 and tap it, draw a card, transform it. Chilling Chronicle. Pay 1 and tap it, tap target non-land permanent, transform it. Oh, what? Oh, it turns its pages. That's hilarious. So you pay 2 and tap it, draw a card. It turns into this that taps one of their things, and then it turns back into this that you can pay 2 mana and draw a card, so it draws a card over and over again. It draws a card forever, right? This card's insane and limited. Overwhelmed Archivist is a 3 mana 3/2. When Overwhelmed Archivist enters the battlefield, draw a card, then discard a card. Okay. Disturb for 4. Flying, whenever it attacks, draw a card, then discard a card. Yeah, it's tapped as it flips, but then the next turn you can draw a card is what I mean. I don't think this card's good. So you enter battlefield, draw, discard. If it goes to the graveyard, you can pay its disturb cost, make it flying whenever it attacks, draw, discard. I don't think this card's good. Like, I think it's okay in limited. I would play like one of these. Puppet Stitcher is a mythic. 3 mana is 2/3. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with Decayed. Okay. That gives me like big Sedgemoor Witch vibes. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or more creature tokens, you may transform it. Hey, what's up, Z? At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or more creature tokens, you may transform it. Creature tokens you control lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 3/3 as an artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may transform it. Oh, you can transform this at the beginning of your upkeep? And it goes back to this. Like, if you need to make more tokens, you just transform into this. Play like 3 instants of sorceries, and then at the beginning, and then or like you play a few things, and then at the beginning of your upkeep you have 3 tokens, and then you transform it back, and then you give all your things 3/3, and you swing. The fact that they lose all abilities makes it so like the decayed text actually goes away, so they don't actually get sacrificed. They just become 3/3s that can attack, and then on your turn they become 2/2 black zombie creature tokens again if you transform this with Decayed. And then if you transform it again, they lose all abilities again and can attack again. Like, I think this card's pretty good in like Sedgemoor Witch decks. Alright, Suspicious Stowaway is a 2 mana 1/1. Suspicious Stowaway can't be blocked. Whenever Suspicious Stowaway deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then discard a card. Daybound. Okay. Seafaring Werewolf is a green werewolf. Seafaring Werewolf can't be blocked. Whenever a Seafaring Werewolf deals combat to each player, draw a card. Oh. So it goes from draw discard to just draw a card. And it's a 2-mana 1/1. If it was 1 mana, this would be insane. Doesn't even have flying. Oh, but it can't be blocked. Okay, that's fair. And when it becomes nighttime, becomes a 2/1. I mean, this card's okay. I can see this card being good. Like, I could see this card being good. No, this will be really... Puppet Stitcher will be really good with Pyromancer. It doesn't say all your zombie tokens lose all abilities and become 3/3s. It's all of them. So you play Pyromancer also, and you just play a bunch of tokens with Sedmore Witch, Puppet Stitcher, and a Young Pyromancer, and you play like a Grixis token stack, and you flip the Puppet Stitcher, and then everything turns into 3/3s, and you kill your opponent on the spot. This card, Suspicious Stowaway, is okay. Baneblade Scoundrel is a 4-mana 4/3. Whenever Baneblade Scoundrel becomes blocked, each creature blocking it gets -1/-1 till end of turn. So like, it makes it like almost unblockable unless you're blocking it with a 6/6 or like a 4/4 or something. You got to block this with 4 power to kill it. And then when it becomes night, it becomes a Baneclaw Marauder, which is a werewolf 5/4. Whenever Baneclaw Marauder becomes blocked, each creature blocking it gets -1/-1, so it keeps the same text. And then whenever a creature blocking Baneclaw Marauder dies, they lose a life. So it turns into from a 4-mana 4/3 into a 5/4. This card's pretty hard to block. I would think that this has like pretty good play in limited. All right, Covert Cut Purse is a 3-mana 2/1. Whenever it enters the battlefield, destroy target creature you don't control that was dealt damage this turn. These types of cards here are pretty good in limited. Disturb for 5. Flying Death Touch. If it will be put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. So it just becomes a 2/2 Flying Death Touch for 5, which is not that good. Limited, like really good limited card though. Alright, Curse of Leeches is a 3-mana curse. Enchant player as the permanent transforms into Curse of Leeches. Attach it to a player. Wait, as this permanent transforms into Curse of Leeches, attach it to a player. Oh, okay. At the beginning of enchanted player's upkeep, they lose a life and you gain a life, or Daybound. And then it becomes a 4/4 lifelink with Nightbound. So then it becomes a 4/4, and then it transforms back into this when it comes day again. And then as it transforms, you attach it to them again. This seems like the perfect card to actually be a leech card. It drains one, it drains one, it drains one. It becomes a 4/4 that you attack them, and it has lifelink. So it technically drains them on attacking. So you like attack them for 4, you gain 4 life. And then when it becomes day, it goes back to Curse of Leeches. Drain one, because nighttime again, Leeching Lurker comes out. It's a pretty cool card. I don't think it's good in constructed, but in limited it's pretty fun. Ecstatic Awakener is a 1-mana 1/1 human wizard. Pay 2 and a black, sacrifice another creature, draw a card, then transform Ecstatic Awakener. Activate only once each turn. The draw card's pretty good. So 3-mana, draw a card, sacrifice another creature, transform this into a 4/4. It doesn't transform back. Like a 1-mana card that draws a card and then also becomes a 4/4 is pretty pog. As a common, this card is going to be drafted a lot. Alright, Graveyard Trespasser is a 3-mana 3/3 with Ward, discard a card. Whenever Graveyard Trespasser enters the battlefield or attacks, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. Okay, if a creature card was exiled this way, each opponent loses life and you gain a life. Daybound. Alright, the other side is Graveyard Glutton. which is also has ward discard a card as a werewolf. Whenever Graveyard Glutton enters the battlefield or attacks, exile up to 2 target cards from graveyards. Wait, when it transforms, does it count as entering the battlefield, chat? No, it doesn't, actually. But if it's already night, this card comes into play as Glutton, if it's already night. I think. Yeah. Graveyard Glutton comes into play already on Glutton if it's night already. So you exile up to 2 target cards from graveyards when it enters the battlefield. For each creature card exiled this way, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life with Nightbound. So if it's already nighttime, then this card is just a 3-mana 4/4. A 3-mana 4/4 with ward discard a card, and then you exile stuff and drain. But it still exiles stuff and drains as a 3-mana 3/3 also. Then when it becomes night, it just becomes a 4/4. I mean, that's pretty good. It's pretty good Grave Hate. And maybe it's a good sideboard card. Maybe it's a good sideboard card for like a humans deck with black in it. Like a Mardu humans deck sideboard card for like graveyard strategies. I wouldn't be surprised if this was actually a sideboard card. Alright, Heirloom Mirror is a 2-mana artifact. You can do 1 and tap it and pay a life. Discard a card. Draw a card, mill a card, put a ritual counter on Heirloom Mirror. Then if it has 3 or more ritual counters on it, remove them and transform it. Activate only as a sorcery. Into Inherited Fiend. So it's a mirror with a fiend coming out of it. So it becomes a 4/4 flyer with 2 and a black. Exile target creature card from a graveyard. Put a 1/1 counter on Inherent Fiend. So it turns into a really bad. It turns into a really bad Scavenging Ooze. I mean, it is a 4/4 flyer, so in that case, it's probably a good Scavenging Ooze, but it does cost 3 mana to put a 1/1 counter on it. 2 mana artifact that becomes a Scavenging Ooze in like 3 turns. I mean, you do discard draw. You have to pay 1 mana for it. It's probably too slow for standard. But in limited, this card's probably a bomb. Alright, Jaren Corrupted Bishop is a 3-mana 2/3. Whenever Jaren Corrupted Bishop enters the battlefield or another non-token human you control dies, you lose a life and create a 1/1 white human creature token. You can pay 2, target human you control gains lifelink until end of turn. At the beginning of your end step, if you have exactly 13 life, you may pay 6 mana if you do transform it. Transform side is Ormondal the Corruptor, which is a 6 mana, not 6 mana, it's a 6/6 demon, flying trample lifelink, sacrifice another creature to draw a card. This is insane. But it's probably not going to happen, right? You have to pay 6 mana, and at the beginning of your end step, you have exactly 13. Like, I think this card is going to be played as a card in a humans deck if you're playing black. To just be a card as sweeper insurance. Like, your opponent plays that new 5-mana red sweeper that deals 5 damage to each creature or planeswalker, kills all your humans, and then you just make a bunch of 1/1s. Like, that's going to be the reason why this card is played, I think. Like, giving your things lifelink is never like bad. You can also manipulate your life total with the lifelink. Like, if you have 11 life, you can give lifelink to like your 2 power creature and go to 13. And then you can just pay 6 sometimes and transform it into a 6/6. Yeah, Ormondal's back. What does the original Ormondal do? Oh, is it the Westvale Abbey's flip card? Yeah, Ormondal Profane Prince. Which is the other side of Westvale Abbey. It has flying lifelink, indestructible, and haste as a 9/7. Hey, what's up, Tommy? Alright, Shady Traveler is a 3-mana 2/3 with Menace, with Daybound. Okay, so when it becomes 9, it becomes a 4/4 Menace Nightbound. Not constructed playable, but like it's okay. It's okay in limited. 4/4 Menace is a pretty big deal. Vengeful. I like that this limited format's probably going to be a little bit higher power level than AFR. Vengeful Strangler is a 2-mana 2/1. It can't block. It's a human rogue. When it dies, returns to the battlefield transformed under your control, attached to a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. So it's a Vengeful Strangler that like attaches itself to like, it just like hangs on your opponent's things after it dies. And strangles your opponent's cards. Enchant creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. At the beginning of your upkeep, enchanted permanent's controller sacrifices a non-land permanent and loses a life. That's funny. If they don't want to sacrifice the card that you give this to, they have to sacrifice something else. And then they keep having to sacrifice that something else until... Okay, that's funny. Like, the fact that it's just a 2-mana 2/1 human is still, like, fine. And it also just removes your opponent's things when it dies. I don't even think this card's that bad. Like, we have cards like this, but not attached to a creature, especially a human. So, like, that makes it kind of playable. Fangblade Brigand is a 4-mana 3/4 human werewolf. Pay 1 and a red. Fangblade Brigand gets +1/+0 and gains first strike till end of turn, so we have werewolf breathing here. But it also gains first strike, so it becomes a 4/4 daybound. And then when it's nighttime, it turns into Fangblade Eviscerator, which is a werewolf, has 1 and a red. It gets +1/+0 and gains first strike, so it has werewolf breathing again. And then pay 4 and a red. Creatures you control get +2/+0 till end of turn, which is very expensive. This card is only limited playable, and it's okay at that. Garlic Breath, right? Flame Channeler is a 2-mana 2/2 human wizard. When a spell you control deals damage, transform it. Whoa, deals damage at all? It transforms into a 3/3 embodiment of flame. Whenever a spell you control deals damage, put a flame counter on it. You can pay 1 and remove a flame counter to exile the top card of your library. You can play it this turn. Oh, sick. All werewolf decks are going to play this. It's a 4-mana 3/4. It doesn't impact the board. You have to pay a lot of mana. I don't think this card's playable and constructed. I could be wrong though, I guess. Embodiment of Flame's an interesting card though. Like the fact that it's a 2-mana 2/2 and then any spell deals damage, like to anything, not even to a player, not even just to a controller, it just deals damage, period. It just, like you just attack with this, they can block, and then you can just like shock your opponent, and then it transforms into a 3/3, they lose their thing. And then whenever a spell you control deals damage, put a flame counter on it, and then you can just like start removing flame counters to like exile cards and playing them. I think this card's actually pretty good. That pumps the whole team? Yeah, this card's gonna pump the whole team in limited. I don't think it's gonna be that good in constructed though. I mean, feel free to prove me wrong and build the werewolf deck and put this in it and then do well with it. I think this embodiment of flame card, Flame Channeler, is going to be actually pretty good, especially if you have human synergies, especially if you have wizard synergies. All right, Harvesttide Infiltrator is a 3-mana 3/2 with trample with daybound. Okay, turns into Harvesttide Assailant with trample. It has nightbound. So this card is one of those instances that I think it's just going to be limited playable and not constructed playable. Reckless Stormseeker is a 2 and a red with a 2/3 at the beginning of combat on your turn. Target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains haste till end of turn. Okay, not having to pay mana for that type of effect is pretty good. It turns into Storm Charge Slasher at night. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gets +2/+0 and it has trample and haste till end of turn. Okay. So what if you play Reckless Stormseeker and then on turn 3 and then on turn 4 you just play a Seeker's Chariot? And then you make 2 2/2s and then you use the 2/2s to crew the chariot in the same turn, and then you enter combat, and then the target chariot you control gets +1/+0 in haste, and then you attack with it, and then you make another 2/2 on the same turn that you play it. I think that's pretty good. I think like this with Chariot, or this with like Moonveil region and mono red, it's pretty good. Like this could be good in mono red. Turn 2 pack leader, turn 3 Stormseeker. Yeah, you can do that too. You can make the pack leader a 4 power, and but then this won't have haste, right? Oh wait, no, you give this haste. So turn 2 pack leader, turn 3 Reckless Stormseeker, giving itself haste, and then that's triggering your draw card off the pack leader on turn 3. You can also do that, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. I think this card sees standard play. I don't think it sees historic play because there's a lot of things you can do for 3 mana that are better than this. But yeah, standard, I think this card's very good. All right, Smoldering Egg is a 2 mana 0/4 Dragon Egg with Defender. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a number of Ember counters on Smoldering Egg equal to the amount of mana spent to cast that spell. Then if Smoldering Egg has 7 or more Ember counters on it, remove them and transform Smoldering Egg. So this is going to be about 3 to 4 spells, maybe 5, depending on how many 1 mana spells you play. Then it's going to transform into Ashmouth Dragon. It's going to be flying 4/4. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, it deals 2 damage to any target. Now, I think this card's really, really good. It's going to act like a thing in the ice for historic, is it Phoenix decks? They're going to play Smoldering Egg on turn 2, and then on turn 3, they're going to cast a couple spells. On turn 4, they're going to cast a couple more spells, and then this card's going to be a 4/4, and it's going to hit you for 4, and it's also going to deal 2 damage to a lot of things. So I think this card is very, very good, and I think this card is played in Phoenix for sure. Now, in other formats like Standard, I don't know if this card makes the cut, but I think this is a very good card, and don't sleep on this card for sure. It flips off Allrun's Epiphany. That's interesting. Yeah, Thing in the Ice returns all creatures to the hand, but this thing just kills them. I mean, like Thing in the Ice, I think is actually better than this card, but we don't have Thing in the Ice in Historic, so this is like the next best thing. Oh, Demi-Lich. Demi-Lich is actually 4 mana, so if you play this and Demi-Lich in the Is It Phoenix deck, Demi-Lich can actually like freaking get you Smoldering Egg like on turn 4. Wait, no, actually turn 3 maybe. Can you attack with Smoldering Egg 4/4 Dragon on turn 3 if you have Demi-Lich? It's actually like pretty good. Oh wait, no. It doesn't work like that. This says the mana spent to cast the spell. It doesn't say the mana value of the spell. So even if it's a 4 mana value card like Demi-Lich, if you actually cast it for free, this doesn't count the 4 mana for Demi-Lich. It counts how much you actually paid. Well, yeah, Thing in the Ice can flip the first turn, but this isn't modern, is it? Oh, Big Tony is Big Confusion also, because that's a creature, and this says exactly instant or sorcery. For some reason, I thought it said creature also. All right, so never mind. Demi-Lich is just a bad idea. I don't know who you heard that from, but it wasn't me. All right. You can still flip this in like a couple turns, 2 or 3 turns, and be fine. All right, Spellrune Painter is a 3 mana 2/3. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Spellrune Painter gets +1/+1 till end of turn with Daybound. Spellrune Howler. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, Spellrune Howler gets +2/+2 till end of turn. So this is like a more expensive like Kiln Fiend, I guess. I don't think this is played in Historic, but it might be played in Standard. Alright, Tavern Ruffian is a 4 mana 2/5. 5 toughness is a big deal. With Daybound, when it becomes night, it becomes a 6/5. So 4 mana 6/5. I think this is pretty good and limited. Because like it's gonna be night and day a lot more often in limited than it will in constructed, especially in historic. In standard, you're gonna have a lot of day and night synergies probably, but in limited, you're gonna have a lot of day and night synergies. So this is really good in limited. Just paying for a 4 mana if it's already night just is a 6/5. That's pretty good. What's up, you king? This card's limited playable, nothing else though. Village Watch is a 5 mana 4/3 haste, human werewolf with Daybound. Becomes a 5/4 with haste as well. It has wolves and werewolves have haste. Like, 5 mana is so expensive, chat. Am I playing in the open? No, I don't have time. I don't have time because I have to work today. If I didn't have to work my dumb job, then I'd be playing in the open. Now we have Bird Admirer. It's a 3 mana 1/4 with reach, human archer werewolf, Daybound. Okay. Wing Shredder, reach, Nightbound. So it just becomes a freaking mother spider or whatever it's called. 3 mana 1/4 that turns into a 3/5 reach is pretty good. Like this card is like, I would love this card in limited. Not good enough in constructed though. Early Breaker is a 5 mana 6/5 with ward 1. Wow. Wow, the front side is a 5 mana 6/5, and that knight is an 8/7 werewolf with ward 3. Oh, this is a bomb. This is a limited bomb. Like 5 mana 6/5 is so good in limited. It also has ward 1, and it has Daybound also, Nightbound at ward 3 8/7. I mean, this card is really good in limited. Alright, Death Bonnet Sprout is a 1 mana 1/1, beginning of your upkeep mill card. Then if there are 3 or more creatures in your graveyard, transform it. It becomes a 3/3, beginning of your upkeep. You may exile a card from your graveyard. If a creature card was exiled, put a 1/1 counter on Death Bonnet Hulk. I mean, a 1/1 that fuels itself, turns into a 3/3, and then it gets bigger every turn as long as you have creatures in your graveyard is a pretty good 1-drop. Also, at the beginning of your upkeep, you can exile a card from a graveyard. And if it was a creature, yeah. So like this also exiles cards at the beginning of every upkeep. What's Willow? Yeah, it's a 1/1 that fuels and doesn't flip back. Like, I think this card's actually pretty good, and it might actually be in like mono green aggro decks as a 1-drop. It still attacks your opponent as a 1/1. Like, yeah, it's a 1/1. Like, your creatures might die anyway. And even if you don't mill creatures, your creatures might die. But then this just becomes a 3/3 and it keeps getting bigger and exiles cards. Like, I think this is pretty good as a 1-drop. Alright. Willowgeist is a 1/1 for green, trample. Whenever one more card to your graveyard, put a 1/1 counter on it. When Willow dies, you gain life equals its power. I think this card's better than Willowgeist. I think Willowgeist is better in historic, but I think Death Bonnet Sprout's better in standard. Because Willowgeist you can pair with cards like Scavenging Ooze and Clothis and stuff. Hound Tamer is a 3 mana 3/3 trample. You can pay 3 and a green to put a 1/1 counter on target creature with Daybound. It becomes an Untamed Pup. 4/4 trample. Other worlds and werewolves you control have trample. Pay 3 and a green, put a 1/1 counter on a creature. Like the fact that it's a 4/4 trample and other wolves and werewolves have trample just like makes the werewolf, like, this definitely goes in a werewolf deck, but I don't know if the werewolf deck's gonna be good. It's a lot of mana to put 1/1 counters on things, so you probably are never doing that unless you have nothing else to do. But like, I guess the daybound and nightbound thing is important because it becomes night if you don't do anything, and you can just spend your turn putting a 1/1 counter on something, so that's not doing anything. At least you get to spend your mana when you're not doing anything. Like, I don't think this card's good, but it might make a standard werewolf deck. I wouldn't be surprised. Outland Liberator is a 2-mana 2/2 human werewolf. You can pay 1, sacrifice Outland Liberator, destroy target artifact or enchantment with daybound. So this is a whatever that dinosaur is that kills artifacts and enchantments. Frenzied Trapbreaker is pay 1, sacrifice it, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Whenever it attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls. So this is a Thrashing Brontodon. Then when it's night, it's just an insane Thrashing Brontodon. Like, this is a really, really, really good sideboard card. This might actually even make it into a humans deck in Historic. Like, the green-white humans deck that we're talking about, they'd probably play this in their sideboard. Hey, Team Rocket, how's it going? Like, the fact that when this attacks, it destroys stuff. Hey, yo, happy birthday, Team Rocket Grunt. You know what? I don't always do this, but it's September, so why not? You don't expect me to do this all the time, but welcome to the Goose Gang. Happy birthday. Yeah, assuming it can flip in Historic, but like, if you play Historic humans, you're probably like vomiting your hand on the battlefield, and then at some point you're not going to be able to do anything. Like, maybe you have a Paladin class on board or something, and you just use Paladin class mana that turn and don't cast anything, and then this flips. Working on a new commander deck, nice. Oh, Cathar Commando is a card too? Oh, that card's good. Has flash, and it's a 3/1 for 1 white, 1 and a white, and you don't have to pay mana to sacrifice it. Yeah, it's probably better. Okay, Tireless Hauler is a 5-mana 4/5 Vigilance Daybound. Okay, this is a limited card. Dire Strain Brawler is a Vigilance Nightbound for a 6/6. Yep, limited card. Tovolar's Huntmaster is a 6-mana 6/6. When it enters the battlefield, create 2/2/2 Green Wolf creature tokens with Daybound. Okay, so this is the Grave Titan, right? Tovolar's Pack Leader is whenever it enters battlefield or attacks, create 2/2/2s just like the other one. And you can pay 2 in double green, another target wolf or werewolf you control, twice target creature you don't control. It's another target one, not itself, so that makes it a lot worse. But it's still Grave Titan. Oh wait, this says just entering the battlefield, and it's only or attacks if it's Tovolar's Pack Leader. So it's worse than Grave Titan. So like, you have to play this, and then you make 2/2/2s, then you have to do nothing, or your opponent does nothing. And then it becomes night, and then you have this. It's a situational Titan. I think it's still fine. We have Arlen the Pack's Hope is a 4-mana 4 loyalty planeswalker with Daybound. Until your next turn, you may cast creature spells as though they had flash, and each creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. That's pretty good. You can -3 create 2/2/2 Green Wolf creature tokens.
And then
So I guess you cast this and you -3 immediately. It goes to 1 loyalty. You make 2 2/2s. And then on your next turn, you +1 this, and then you do nothing, and it becomes night because you did nothing. That's pretty cool. Because your things have flash anyway. And then it turns into Arlen Moon's Fury. Where it has a +2 to add Gruul mana. And then it's 0 until end of turn. Arlen becomes a 5/5 with Trample, Indestructible, and Haste. So like, you -3 make 2 2/2s. It doesn't die, hopefully. It goes back to your turn. You +1. You do nothing. It becomes night. Turns into Arlen Moon's Fury. You cast some things with flash. When it comes back to your turn, you can just like make this a 5/5 with Trample, Indestructible, and Haste. Attack them. And then I guess you can cast 2 spells in the same turn, and then it becomes day on the next turn. Or you could just keep it as this. I think Arlen packs up's pretty good, especially at 4 mana. At 4 mana, that's pretty good. Lasting Philosophy, how's it going? All right, Denick, Pious Apprentice is a 2 mana 2/3 lifelink. Good stat line. Cards and graveyards can't be the targets of spell or abilities. Also good. Oh, it's actually really good. Disturb for 4. Its Disturb is flying whenever one or more creature cards are put into graveyards from anywhere. Investigate. Okay. If Denick would be put into graveyard from anywhere, exile it. My EST or PST? I'm EST. It is 1 o'clock for me. Like, I'm thinking about this card in Niverborn. Also thinking if Arlen's playable for Niverborn. Like, Denick in Niv against, like, the Jeskai, Magma Opus, Mizzix Mastery, Gearhulk deck, they can't use Mizzix Mastery or Gearhulk with this on board. Like, they can use Gearhulk, but they can't do anything with it. But, like, is this better or worse than, like this has to take, this takes the place of, like, Kaya, and, like, I guess this would have to take the place of, I'm forgetting the card's name already. What is that card's name? I am just forgetting everything. This would take the place of Clothis. Like, I would just play this over playing Clothis, I think. Well, there's an artifact that does this, that no one plays. Well, the fact that you can get this off of Niv-Mizzet makes it worth playing. Also, this turns off Scavenging Ooze. Like, for my opponent's green decks. Alright, Devoted Graphkeeper is a 2 mana 2/1 when it enters the battlefield, mill 2. Whenever you cast a spell from your graveyard, tap target creature you don't control, disturb for 3. It becomes a flying, can block only creatures with flying. So it basically just becomes a Brazen Borrower. I don't think this card's good. Kessig Naturalist is a 2 mana 2/2. Whenever it attacks, add red or green. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. So it has like the Domri Plus ability. And then it has Daybound, Nightbound. Oh my gosh, the Nightbound is a lord. It's actually called Lord of the Uvenwald. Wow. Whenever Lord of the Uvenwald attacks, add red or green. Until end of turn, you don't lose the mana as steps and phases as. This is a staple for sure. This is a super staple. It also adds mana. 2 mana, 2/2, adding mana. When it becomes night, it becomes a lord. That's like really good. Alright. Ludovic Necrogenius is a 2 mana, 2/3, good stat line. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, mill a card. You can pay X and blue, black. Oh my gosh. Exile X creature card from your graveyard, transform it. X can't be 0. Okay, so you pay 5 mana, exile 1 creature, transform this. Becomes Olag Ludovic's Hubris, which is a zombie 4/4. As this creature transforms into Olag, it becomes a copy of a creature card exiled with it. Oh. Okay, except for its name is Olag, it's a 4/4, and it's legendary blue-black zombie. Okay, put a number of 1/1 counters on Olag equal to the number of creature cards exiled with it. Okay, so you would just... So this comes out as a 5/5 because it's a 4/4 with 1+1/+1 counter. If you exile 1 creature, it becomes a copy of the creature you exile. It's like a bad Scarab God. I mean, it's a 2 mana 2/3 though. Like, the fact that it's just a 2 mana card, it's a 2 mana creature that you're already going to be playing in your, you know, Dimir Humans deck if you ever build that, or like Dimir Wizards deck or Grixis Wizards deck, which is definitely a thing you could do. You keep milling cards and then you exile a creature that you have in graveyard, and it just becomes it as a 5/5. It's not close to Scarab God, but this card's a 2 mana 2/3. So we should definitely not underestimate the fact that it's just a good statted creature, especially if you play a Wizards deck already. And it just has the added ability of it's fueling itself too, and it also has the added ability of paying 5 mana. Like, only as a sorcery, of course, but you can just pay 5 mana, just become a copy of something in your graveyard as a 5/5. So think of this: it's a 2 mana 2/3. It attacks a few times in a row. You get to 5 mana. It's now your 2 mana card is now a 5/5 copy of anything in your graveyard. Like, that's not bad at all, especially if you're playing a Wizards deck that was already playing blue and black. I think this card's really, really good for the deck that it's in. The problem with this card is going to be that it might not actually have a deck. What do you want to exile so it's a 5/5? Anything. Like, any of your wizards, like say you play Baral or something and you like exile Baral from your graveyard, say it died, and now you have a 5/5 Baral. This is never getting played in Wizards. I mean, I wouldn't say never. This is 2 mana 2/3. Like, it's a good stat line with a good ability. If you're playing a Wizards deck, you might actually play this. Well, you wouldn't play this in a Reanimator deck. You'd play this as like, I'm playing my Wizard aggro deck. That's Grixis or whatever color you want your Wizard aggro deck to be, and then later on in the game, as a mana sink, you just exile creatures. And then you just make this a 4/4 with a 1/1 counter for each creature you exiled, and it becomes a copy of one of those creatures. That's not bad. How do you get valuable creatures in the yard? Your opponent kills them, or you just mill them, because whenever it attacks or enters the battlefield, you mill a card. I wouldn't think about it as a wizard that you want for 5 mana. I would think about it as you have a mana sink when you have 5 mana to become any wizard in your graveyard that you want to be. All right. Tovolar, Dire Overlord is a 3 mana 3/3. Whenever wolf or werewolf you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. This kind of Wizard's probably better than Grixis. I agree, but if you wanted to play Grixis, I think you're playing this card. At least a 2 of. Whenever a wolf or werewolf you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Oh, that's really good. Wow. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or more wolves in a whirls, it becomes night. That's good too. That's actually a good ability, irrelevant. Because this is like one of the only cards I've read in this set that actually makes it night. Then transform any number of human werewolves you control. Wow. It becomes a 4/4 with whenever a wolf or werewolf you control has the same ability. You can pay X red green, target wolf or werewolf you control gets +X/+0 and trample to end of turn, and that's at, and that's not only as a sorcery. Like, I think Kessig Naturalist plus Tovolar Dire Overlord is like really good. Like green red werewolves are probably going to be a deck. Like the werewolves that we've mentioned so far aren't very strong, but Kessig Naturalist and Tovolar are both very strong. All right, Mystic Skull is a 2-mana artifact. You can pay 1 and tap it to add a mana of any color. So it's a filter artifact. You can pay 5 and tap it to transform it. It becomes a Mystic Monstrosity. It's a 5/6, and then lands you control have tapped to add a mana of any color as an artifact creature. So it becomes a prismatic, whatever it's called. Chromatic Lantern. So it's a filter artifact that you can pay 5 and tap it to make your lands Chromatic Lantern. Okay. Then we have a Hostile, which is my favorite name of a card in the set. It comes in untapped. You can add colorless mana. You can pay 1 and tap it to sacrifice a creature, put a soul counter on it. Then if there are 3 or more soul counters on it, remove those counters, transform it, then untap it. You can only activate that ability as a sorcery, but it does transform into Creeping In when it has 3 or more soul counters on it. And whenever Creeping In attacks, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, each opponent loses X life, and you gain X life, where X is the number of creature cards exiled with Creeping In. So, attack with it as 3 power, exile, drain 1. Attack with it again, exile, drain 2. Attack again, exile, drain 3, and you can pay 4 mana to have it phase out. That's funny because both sides of it are puns. Hostile is a pun, obviously. And then Creeping In is a pun because it's an inn, like it's a hotel. But it's also creeping in, like creeping in to your opponent. That's funny. You think this is too slow? It's just a land, chat. Or are you talking about Mystic Skull being too slow? Hostile's a very, very, very good land. This card's really good. I don't care if it's sorcery speed. It's only 1 mana and tap it, sack a creature. You probably want to be sacking creatures anyway, especially if they have decayed and they're gonna die anyway. Like, the decayed creatures can't block. So like, you just pay a mana, tap it, sacrifice it, soul counter, eventually have 3. This becomes a 3/7 creature. It can also phase out if your opponent goes to kill it. Like, it's a lot of mana to protect this card, but like, I think you really want to protect this card. Like, this card's really good. Anyway, all right, that's it. Cool. All right, well, that's the set. That's Innistrad Midnight Hunt. That's every card that we have to offer. We have highlights. We have Arlen, which is an amazing planeswalker. That was spoiled in the set. Werewolf Tribal is going to be an actual thing in Standard. We're going to be playing some Standard on stream. I'm accepting all deck submissions now. I'm accepting all deck submissions from subs and non-subs. Make sure to go into the Discord and click on the Google Doc where it says what to do under deck submissions. Click that, submit me a deck that you want me to play. If you're a sub, you get a free one. You might as well if you're sub. If you're not sub, it's a $10 donation, but if you're sub, that's free. Phase 4 creeping out. I know, right, Dead Zone? So taking all deck submissions for this set as well right now. Also, I think like werewolves are gonna be pretty good in standard. I think that Arlen's very good. It's Arlen you probably play in werewolves also because it's gonna be a green-red deck. Like the white removal spell is really, really good, whatever it's called. I think humans are gonna be really good. Fateful Absence is amazing. A lot of good removal spells here. We have Memory Deluge, which is an amazing card for blue control decks. Look at the top 4, get 2 cards, and it has flashback for look at the top 7, get 2 cards. We have Champion of the Parish. We have a zombies, and we also have a zombie lord as well. The Champion of the Parish plus the zombie lord, and we can do black red vampires as well. That's also pretty good. We have the Infernal Grasp, which is also amazing. We have some cool historic decks that we can do. Infernal Grasp is really good in Death Shadow. Lord of the Forsaken, can do like a Reanimator deck, playing this and Reanimate cards. We can also play a flashback deck with Lord of the Forsaken and revive this and then cast our flashback spells. There's a lot of cool things that we can do with this set, so I'm excited about what decks that I get to play from you folks. We can do a mono red deck with Moonville Region. I think Moonville Region belongs in mono red. We can play a green red werewolves with Moonranger Slash because it's very easy in werewolves to make it nighttime, especially if we have the legendary card that actually makes it nighttime. This can be actual lightning bolt in that deck, which I think is really good. This Sunstreak Phoenix I think is slept on that we could probably play on our Gruul deck also as like a 1 or 2 of, maybe like a recurring threat against control decks. Just a lot of really good cards here that I'm just like passing over right now. We also have the adversaries that are also really good. The white adversary is amazing, especially in humans. We have Ren and 7 that we can play as well. We can play like a landfall deck or lands matters deck with Ren and 7. A lot of these cards are good. We can play like a green red ramp deck as well, like using Dire Strain Rampage to target our own lands to ramp us. Pretty cool there. Humans, green white or green white red humans, playing Join the Dance and Catilda. Rite of Harmony as well to draw some cards. We can do Rem Carolus, Stalwart Slayer in our green, red, and white humans deck as well. We also have Sacred Pharaoh that we can do like a red-white mid-range deck. Sunrise Cavalier is a human. Like, so many things that we could play. Wake to Slaughter could be a Reanimator deck. That was actually a pretty good card that we saw. We have the lands here that are awesome, especially for the new standard. And a lot of the double face cards are good too. Like Arlen's very good. I think this Death Bonnet Sprout's actually a slept on card at uncommon here. This card could actually be like a really good card in standard, either mono green or green red decks, or just aggro decks in general. Tovolar's Huntmaster, I think, is going to see a lot of play. I don't know if it's going to be amazing, but I think it's going to see a lot of play. It's a really good blocker against aggro decks. It also at nighttime becomes actually insane. We have a lot of like the Kedrick Tessid Naturalist, Tovolar Dire Overlord, and then Hostile I think is gonna be played too. So I think just as a quick snapshot of the set, those cards are probably gonna be like the most played cards. And I know I'm missing a few too, but like I like the set a lot. I think in limited this is gonna be a really good set too, because like all the cards that aren't constructed playable are like barely not constructed playable. If you have a lot of barely not constructed playable cards, that means that limited is going to have like a lot of really good cards for limited, like really good cards. But anyway. I have to work. I have to leave for work soon, so I have to stop the stream now, unfortunately. But you know, hopefully one of these days at some point we are going to not have to work a regular job and I can just keep streaming for you guys. We're going to send you over to Arne Hushbeth or Yellow Hat. Wait, what's Yellow Hat doing right now? Modern Challenge? Okay, we'll go to Arne then. Arne's playing Arena. All right, guys, thank you everybody for hanging out. This was the second half of our Innistrad Midnight Hunt review. You can probably find this on YouTube at some point in the future. It's probably going to be a few weeks before we get this on YouTube, but we are going to be doing that. It's probably going to be like 3 or 4 weeks till we get this on YouTube, to be honest. But have a wonderful rest of your day, folks. It was a pleasure hanging out with you guys. And I will see you tomorrow with some either Boros midrange or Niv Visit Reborn in wake of Stream League. !SL in chat if you'd like to look at the Stream League details with a bunch of streamers that are playing in that. I'll be announcing two different players and featuring them in Stream League if you didn't hear me say that earlier. And today we announced level 99 Herbie and Elliot Dragon. So I'll go ahead and see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. I gotta put on my sad epic music to say goodbye to you guys too.